the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. So if I showed you this image and said this was what was happening inside of our nation's capital right now, you'd say, oh, is that from the new Grand Theft Auto trailer, or what's happening? Clearly that's not real, right? I didn't see it in the news. But this is exactly what happened right outside of Washington, D.C., in a place called Arlington, Virginia. Check out this clip. This is the cops showing up to a home in Arlington, Virginia. Again, this is a suburb of Washington, D.C., very close to Washington, D.C., right over the river, as they say. And the cops have shown up, and they are executing a search warrant on the home. And then this happens. Yeah.
Oh.
That looks like the end times. What happened? A paranoid homeowner named James Yu, 56, whose Arlington home exploded after suspects fired 30 flares, is believed dead, as social media posts include, calling his ex-wife a witch and F America. He was a far left-winger, by the way. Funny how you never hear about left-wing terrorism. This guy could have taken a lot of people with him. This is terrifying. James Yu is a Arlington man suspected of triggering an explosion at his Virginia home on Monday night. He's believed to be dead, police said. Now deleted Instagram account contained a string of bizarre ramblings, including recent posts that claim his neighbors were spies. This is the man right there. So John Yu got into a standoff with police, and according to the scraping of his now deleted social media accounts, he was a absolutely rabid leftist, Trump-hating leftist, who also hated white people, and then blew up his own house. And you have to assume that, right? This isn't somebody leaving the stove on. I mean, my God, look at this. I mean, that looks like something out of, I don't know, Michael Bay film. So they are saying that this man, who has often said F America and has railed against our country and against the people in our country, again, was a far left white person hating lunatic. The Arlington explosion was caused by a far left anti-white, had been institutionalized before by his wife, paranoid that the government was following and spying on him, to name a few. Most important, another lunatic with mental health issues was known to the FBI, and nothing was done before he blew up his own house. Yeah. This guy was completely nuts. Apparently, he was ID'd and believed dead in the blast. Apparently, he was in there. The suspect had been identified as 56-year-old James Yu, Arlington, Virginia. Officials say Yu does not have any other previous interactions with the officers at the address, besides 2 calls for loud noises over the years. Yu was inside the residence at the time of the investigation and is presumed to be dead. According to officials, human remains were discovered at the scene and he'd been identified. So we tweeted this, and Tim Pool says, rumor has it the homeowner had evidence that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton, LOL. This was very interesting. So from Jordan Satchel saying, I did a satellite map search of the address, got this guy as the homeowner, sheesh. We'll turn this into a thread on the stuff that I uncover. So here is the screenshots of James Yu. Says the USA is the world's biggest terrorist. Noam Chomsky, of course. F the police. Ice Cube. Purge them. Former head of global security, of course. With some alphabet agency. So, great. Oh, George Mason School of Business. Okay, so he was associated with higher education. So there you go. James Yu. F the police, and America is the world's biggest terrorist. Really glad we have an open border, by the way. Really glad we have an open border to let more people like this in. So people are saying that the dude in Arlington was stalking the comment sections on YouTube, but apparently this is not his account. This is a fake account. This has been community noted, so just keep that in mind. So the terrorist here, I guess you could call him that, right? Blew up his own house, could have really hurt a lot. Saying that his neighbors are spies. Here are some of his posts. His neighbors are spies. He's just nuts. We need to reopen our mental institutions. There's much more in this massive explosion than the government is telling you, says George Papadopoulos. Boom. There it goes. So he's a far leftist who posts anti-white hatred and quotes from Noam Chomsky. He's accused his neighbors of being spies. He had previous encounters with the FBI, so the FBI knew this guy. He filed countless frivolous lawsuits against his own sister and wife. He's a former head of global security at the U.S. government's Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. Oh, great. So he's the head of global security. Perfect. This guy was the head of security for one of our government organs, part of the blob. Incredible. I mean, I got to tell you, obviously, left-wingers do tend to be more mentally unstable. That's a fact. That's been studied. And then also what they are being fed, which is a nonstop string of propaganda, paranoid propaganda and lies from the corporate press, ends up radicalizing people. The person who shot up the congressional baseball team, for instance, was a complete and utter lunatic, radical, who had his brain broken. I know this because I personally went through his Facebook before they scrubbed it all. This guy was a far left-wing radical who targeted Republicans and then shot up a bunch of members of Congress. Steve Scalise was one of them, went to the hospital, nearly died. Rand Paul was another. You spent an insane amount of time writing up lawsuits. This guy was nuts. Again, reopen the mental institutions. So again, this guy was clearly spiraling out of control, according to reporter Nick Sotor. Robbie Starbucks said that he read through all the guy's documents that he's posted here, my personal analysis. This is a case of extreme mental illness, examining the letters to U.S. Attorney, former Special Counsel Robert Mueller, and various lawyers. Got to ask myself, why? He spins fantastical claims up about everyone is out to get him. So it's just like mental break. Never really gets much of a coherent explanation. So he's called the schizophrenic ramblings. In my opinion, there's no conspiracy here, says Robbie Starbuck. This is a very sick man who needed long-term mental health. Help! And it looks like he had maybe lost a lot of money in the stock market, something like that. But you never really know with these things. What you do know, though, is that we live in a dangerous time. And we live in a time of extreme access to information. And that crazy people who deserve to be locked up should be locked up. But unfortunately, there's an entire wave of people who shut down all of the mental institutions in this country, and that is what has led to the spiraling homelessness crisis. There's an absolute and total inverse on the number of people who are wandering the streets homeless and clearly mentally diseased and clearly mentally unstable and in need of help and care and desirous of actually being locked up, many of them. They want institutional help. That's why they commit crimes. But of course, Jack Nicholson made a movie in the 70s called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and all the boomers said, oh, mental health institutions, they're so mean. We should close them all down. And then what happened? The number of people interned in long care mental health institutions plummeted, and the number of homeless people wandering the streets, committing crimes, skyrocketed. You see the inverse relationship? Can you see it? Boom. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Very sad. Stay safe out there, obviously. And do your very, very level-headed best to move to communities with positive people in them, with a lot of sunshine, and as far away from Washington, D.C. as you possibly can. Stay safe out there, and stay based. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See you.